just a small town girl with a big old dream. Now she's taking it over and making a scene. Yes, it's your turn next, so please take your seat. 'Cause baby, the best is yet to be seen. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning,
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.
Sunshine's Corner.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest spot in town. I want to welcome you into Sunshine's Corner. This is where purpose meets power. And you know what I like to tell you? When conversation starts, there is some change. And today we are having a great conversation. And I want you to sit back, get that cup of coffee so you can get into it yourself. Joining me today is our very own mayor of Pensacola, D.C. Reeves, and for another edition of Building a Better Pensacola Together. That's what I'm labeling it today, Mayor. And of course, as Pensacola prepares for the upcoming mayoral election. We've got a lot to talk about now. This election is going to be taking place on August 18th right here in Pensacola. And Mayor Reeves is seeking a re-election, and joining us today, we're going to discuss his vision for the city. I mean, the accomplishments during his current term, ongoing projects, and the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead of us here today. So I want you to sit back and relax. Now, this conversation is designed to keep our community informed about issues impacting our neighborhoods, businesses, families, and the future of Pensacola. We believe informed citizens build stronger communities, and today we're beginning and bringing the conversation directly to you. We're going to discuss economic growth. We're going to talk about public safety, the infrastructure, the quality of life, and what residents can expect in the months ahead. So sit back and let's do it together. We are welcoming the mayor and, of course, the new candidate for the mayorship all over again. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. I got my cup of coffee ready to go, just like you're telling all your viewers to. So
get that cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thank you so much. Always an honor to be with you.
Oh, you know what? I tell you what, I love it because when we talked the last time, you don't realize how much you educated me.
Oh, okay.
When I was sitting here, when you was talking about people, you think you get this money, you get that, I was like, okay. Because, I was thinking in the wrong direction myself. But I tell you, that was education for me. And I love the fact when I tell our viewers all the time, that's why I know knowledge is power, but you got to get the knowledge before you can receive the power.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I think what you just said is so vital. Having engaged citizens, I think that gets confused sometimes in politics, that politicians may think that means you have to have people who agree with you. I think the power of a local community and local government, not all this nonsense you hear on TV, national TV.
That's right.
But the power of local government is engaged citizens that not only can have as much knowledge about the issues that are happening, but to speak their opinion, to speak their voice. That's a good thing. Whether it's agree or disagree, if we can sharpen the pencil together and we end up with a net better product for our city and for our residents, then that's a good thing. But what I think about right now is, there's lots of complicated, complex parts of running a government. But what people are worried about right now is affordability. That's what people are worried about.
God,
so
yes.
I say all the time, I just said it before we came on air, that there's lots of parts of my job that I wish I could show every citizen how it works, because there can be some misunderstanding.
Right.
But I am completely empathetic to the idea that we have lives and kids and jobs,
Lord, yes.
and costs are rising and all of that. So people don't have time to
That's right.
and figure out every intricacy of how local government works. That's my job to try to do, and to try to convey that the best way we can.
Exactly.
So that's why these opportunities are great to be able to share.
No doubt about it. And I got to say, this is off my script because I did not put it on there. But I want to say with Keela, when we had God, I turned around with my camera. I mean, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Wasn't that awesome? Yeah. It was great. And there were so many, a lot of things had to happen real fast.
I know, it was so quick.
Yeah, it was a fast event, but that just shows the strength of this community. And what I think I'll always remember about that is just what I said a minute ago. We can agree or disagree on how the city works or how the county works or how the state works, but to see our community come together around this commonality of different people from different neighborhoods. And I mean, there's no such thing as unanimous support about anything. It doesn't feel like in 2026.
Exactly.
But that our community could rally around and be so excited for Kilo, deservingly so. I mean, what an amazing run.
I was so amazed when I walked up and I said, okay, then when I got here and I saw how many cars, how far I had to walk.
Right.
But I want to say to you, I mean, because I know you were instrumental behind that.
Yeah.
And I thought with Keela, what she's doing with a local young lady
Yeah.
that made it that far on a national stage,
Yep.
that was worth it.
Yeah.
To give her that. And the community was right behind her to make her feel like, hey, look, girl, you can do anything you want to. Just keep going.
That's right. It was a lot of work, but it's easy to do.
Exactly.
It's easy to do to support her, and to support her family and Drew. People are saying, well, they're like, Mayor, you must have the inside scoop. What is she going to do next? Or what is Keela? I was like, man, I think Drew's going to be on Disney Channel or something soon enough. I mean, he is
the bomb.
I know. I mean, both of them have a great future ahead of them. But it makes huge projects that are important to our community so much easier to do
Exactly.
when it's people that you can root for.
Most certainly.
And that's a family that you can root for. And I mean, what a great 3-minute commercial to the entire world that was on that telecast to show the parade and just how much love she had.
Exactly.
And
it
to
was
be able
amazing.
to put out to 8 million people all over the world.
Amazing.
I mean,
It was amazing.
that's priceless, literally priceless.
Exactly. You took Pensacola all the way out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that was fun too. I got to experience that with my daughter and my 11-year-old.
I saw that. I said, oh.
I know. So that was a great, as I've been saying the last few months, that's a great core memory as a dad, just to be able to
I can
experience
imagine.
that
I can
and
imagine.
go to American Idol.
But you know, when you do things like that, and when I think about now, that's going to bring me back around to what it is. What is when we say, and I'm out here in the community on everywhere. When it comes to us with your bridging that gap, and we're going to be transparent today because you said, just like I said, I think conversation is a place you can have it, you can talk about things so that we can take it to another level. Like what I saw, what's bring me to this question, when I looked around and I saw the array of people that was there, and everybody was cheering and everybody was like, oh, there's so much love there. How can we bridge that gap that sometimes come up and happen like that all the time?
Yeah, you know, that's why I think moments like that are so special because it is difficult. And the stat that I cannot get out of my head, I heard a few months ago, probably in January, when I was up with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, all the mayors in the country, was that 72% of this country, 72% is angry. Just angry, not at just politicians, not at politics. They've been measuring that a long time. They've asked the same question the same way for a long time. It is the highest it's ever been since JFK was assassinated. And so if you put that into context, 2026, 63 years later, since such a earth-shattering event took place, that's when it was even as close to as angry as people are right now. And I think there's a lot of factors in that. I think affordability is in how decisions being made affect my family.
Right.
Then I think you have just the natural sense of how national media works now, and that it now pays to pit one against another, and Republican against Democrat. And so it's just a very, very difficult time. So that's why I think I had extra appreciation for that because those are fleeting moments. You don't get those a lot where we could say from every corner of our region, every corner, black, white, young and old, everybody could rally behind a Pensacolian, and those don't come along. Those types of moments don't come along very often.
Exactly. I came back and I said, I was talking when I came back the next day. I said, guys, I saw a beautiful rainbow of color. It was there because when I got there and I went to the front and I came back and I turned around, I was amazed. But I say that because if we can do that then, even with all of the negativity that's going on in the world today, with all the hardships, there are a lot of things that people are feeling that's going on in the world today that we should look at that pattern. And what is it that we're not doing? If we see we brought that together, we can do it together all the time. But I think with your running for mayor again, and I've seen so many that's running. And what do you see as far as foresee for the future of working together with you or going again for being mayor?
Yeah, listen, I think the next challenge for these next 4 years, again, what we know for a fact is, again, people aren't worried about getting to the city council meeting. People aren't worried about, they're wanting to put food on the table. They're wanting to put more and more expensive gas in their car. And so now understand, at the local level.
That's right.
I wish we could control gas prices at the local level. We can't. But I've said this since I've started. and I can give you examples of that, whether it's child care and
Right,
trying to
right.
invest in education. We are happy to put our nose in there and not have any excuses of saying, well, hey, that isn't our job.
Exactly.
So I can make the promise to every constituent out there, I don't go control gas prices.
You got that?
However, if there are things that we can do to help soften the blow, if there's things that we can do to create access to make your life easier, that is the role of government. So we have a mantra in City Hall that we don't say that's not our job. So even if we don't say, well, I don't control gas,
right.
well, I don't control the school district.
That's right.
No, we got to get our nose in there sometimes and just do the best that we can. So
Exactly.
I think the next term, the next 4 years here, is going to really be focused, one, on affordability and trying to increase affordability for every single person that lives in the city. And two, which is part of that, is creating job opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
We are going to be hyper-focused in economic development. We just got Birdon, the shipbuilding company, average salary 80,000, 2,000 jobs. That will be the #1 employer in the city when it's ready to go.
Right.
That's $160 million of payroll, of revenue coming into this city. That's putting food on the table. That's doing those things. However, we got to make sure that our kids are trained to take those jobs. So I look at really the 2.0 of all of these great things have come in. Now we got to make sure that our kids, our grandkids, are getting those opportunities to have those high-paying jobs and to be able to feed their family,
Right,
put
right.
gas in their car.
Absolutely.
So I really look at it as those are the types of ways we want to be able to attack affordability and say, well, then great, let's get you a higher-paying job. Let's get you the training that you need. Those are the types of things that at the local government level we can control without just making an excuse and saying, hey, that's not our job.
Exactly. And I love the fact when you're focusing in on the local level. I've been trying to educate everybody as far as locally you need to get out and vote. This is how you make those decisions.
For
you
sure.
get out and vote. You got to get out and vote, people, and make sure that you're heard. And when we talk about affordability and the things that are happening, and I'm going to be very transparent with you today, because in the Black community, they feel, some of them, where I've been to meetings and I've sat in on things and I've listened. I've listened on other things that, like you say, I read social media.
Sure.
Some of it's not true, but
Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly. But they feel as if they're left out, and they want to know what is it that going to affect the Black community even more. Let's say, okay, you're mayor now, you run a game, you win a game. What is it that can make them not feel as if they are left out?
Yeah, I really think of two things. When I've been to meetings and town halls and it says the city's doing this and the city's doing that, well, that fact may not be true. That misperception that they say may not, many times can not be true. However, I think as city government, number one, you represent everybody.
Exactly.
And number two is you can't take those things personally because what we're normally talking about may not be that one thing. We're talking about generational issues of, and let's talk about the west side of the city of Pensacola and the lack of investment.
Exactly.
Fricker Center, we're going to have a groundbreaking on the 26th. That is the largest single city investment on the west side of the city of Pensacola in forever.
Exactly.
And, Baptist Hospital, what we could have said, Baptist Hospital's not our job. We don't own it. And you know what would have happened? We would have had abandoned hospital sit for 15 and 20 years in a community and partially in the most vulnerable part of our city, Pensacola, in terms of average income and all that. Well, we're not going to just sit and say that's not our job. We're going to try to figure out a way to say we can bring prosperity we can bring healthcare, we can bring education, we can bring food access, all of those things that are important to see a community thrive. We're not going to sit on our hands and say, well, Baptist owns it. That's not us.
I hear you.
And so we have a record level of infrastructure investment happening on the west side of our city. Record level. Go find a 5-year, 10-year period ever. And that's because it's been generationally underinvested, and I think there's been promises made that weren't delivered.
That's right.
And so when I've sat in many of these meetings, especially early on, you're not going to do Fricker Center. You're going to say you're going to do these things, and you're not going to do it. No, I don't come to a meeting and say we're going to do something without getting it done.
Exactly.
And so I feel like we've already enhanced the investment on the west side, and I think the next page, when we turn the page, we're going to be looking at how do we continue to add amenities? We're going to invest $5 million in taking environmentally challenged properties in Brownsville, like the old gas stations that just sit there for 50 years. Why do they sit there? Well, no one wants to buy the lot and then have to clean out the tanks, and it's so expensive to do. So what happens? It just becomes blight, and it just sits there, next to your neighbors, and it affects them every day, and it has environmental impacts.
Yeah.
So we're going in right now as we speak. We have a council meeting this month where we're going to go buy environmentally distressed properties that the city can then turn, and we can put in a grocery store. You can put in, now the city can help play a vital role in making sure that the amenities are available. When you look at these food desert access issues, when you look at a study in Brownsville in the last 10 years or so, say that there's areas where 38% of people have access to a vehicle. I don't know that every Pensacolian understands that, and the staggering numbers, and the polarization of one side of the city versus the other. So,
absolutely.
So those are things that we keep in front of us and keep on our windshield. And certainly, I think with Fricker Center, with Baptist Hospital, and some of these other things that we're going to do in Brownsville, we have to be very intentional about making this city affordable for everybody.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, when you ever mentioned the Fricker Center, that's my heart.
Yeah.
I went back and I found out even that there used to be a pool there. Did you know that?
I heard that.
Yes.
I grew up here. I don't remember that. But
I did the research. There used to be a pool there, and I said, I wonder why that hole was there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe it's the stormwater pond.
There
now,
you go.
Or whatever it was. Yeah, that's probably where it was. Yeah.
Exactly. But that was really some history that I did. But when it comes down to things, when you think about the economics here in Pensacola, young people now, we want to make sure that when they leave here, that they come back. We don't want them to leave Pensacola and don't come back.
Right.
We've seen some things that I've researched where that was happening, that they see that there was not anything here that's going to keep them to build their families here.
Yep.
And I mean, that's across the board, not just in the Black community.
You're right.
And so therefore, things like that, when the jobs you say that will be available for people to take advantage of.
Yeah.
These will be, we see that I feel this sometimes. Now, everything is going up. The cost of living is higher.
Yep.
But the salaries are staying right there.
Yep.
Let's talk. We got to take a break.
Yeah.
We'll take about that when we come back.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Everybody, we're having a great conversation today with our mayor right here on Sunshine's Corner. We'll be back with more.
I learned during my military service to train every day to fight and fight to win. If you've been injured in an accident, you already know one thing for sure. The insurance companies are going to fight you for every dollar you deserve. At Michelson Booth, we settle most of the cases we handle. But if the insurance companies choose to fight, well, we're okay with that too. If you've been injured in an accident, choose a law firm that's got the resources, training, and stomach for the fight. Michelson Booth. Don't be a victim twice.
Nestled in the heart of Pensacola, Dorothy's is a one-of-a-kind, community-driven cocktail bar by Oasis, Florida, created to sustain vital HIV and STI care across the Florida Panhandle. Inspired by the Wizard of Oz, rooted in inclusion, and dripping with character, Dorothy's is a welcoming space with award-winning Oz-inspired cocktails, food by Steel Pony Diner, and an unmatched atmosphere. Join us 7 days a week in downtown Pensacola, located directly across from Maritime Park and the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Step into your hometown boot store right here in Pensacola, Florida. The largest selections of Western boots and attire, including our own style of custom Anderson bean. The boot store also carries a great selection on workwear from boots to fire-resistant clothing. When you're looking for authentic wear, accompanied with authentic service, show up at your hometown boot store where you're more like family than you are a customer. And remember, the savings and selection are found behind the big red boot.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. This is Sunshine's Corner. We're having a great conversation with our mayor. And I said, I love to call that name mayor. I like to give the props where the props are.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. But you can call me DC.
Okay, DC. Well, listen to this. How can the residents have a stronger voice in making decisions when it comes to things? Let me rephrase. How can the residents come to a meeting and do it calmly and have voices? Because if you scream, you're not getting anything done.
Exactly. Listen, I think, first of all, we love engagement with constructive engagement.
Exactly.
And again, if we had a 3-hour show, I could give you examples where a resident emailed me and said, hey, have you looked at this fence around this park?
Right.
Have you looked at, and change happens. It could be big or it could be little, and change happens. But again, it's in person can be very much like social media, which is using all caps lock and yelling the loudest may not be, if the goal is to get something done, if it's to tear something down or someone down, so be it. You have the freedom to do that. But if the goal is, I want to leave my house today and come to a council meeting or send an email to the city or call 311. I always give that advice, call 311 if there's a pothole or something like that.
Exactly.
If you want a net result to be positive, there's many ways to do it, and we love that. We don't have enough employees to be on every street, every morning, looking at every garbage can. It doesn't matter who the mayor is. You'll never have enough people to be the eyes and ears on the ground. So I have I'm so grateful. I have such appreciation for, and there's kind of a regular group of folks that'll say, hey, heads up on this. And it's not like, why didn't you do that?
Exactly.
It's the understanding of, hey, we're all in this together.
Most certainly.
So DC Reeves at cityofpensacola.com. Anybody can email me anytime. I write back on weekends. I write back whenever I can get there. Or I'll get it on to the department director that can help you. And so that whether it's at a city meeting, many times at a city meeting, someone will come up and use their 3 minutes and say, I don't know if you knew about this. And not that we even have to. Normally we'll just sit there and let people say their thing. We'll jump on the mic and say, hey, our department director's in the back right there. Hey, Tanya or Amy or whoever, hey, go grab, we're going to get your phone number and we're going to get that handled.
Exactly.
So there's many ways to do, if the goal is to have a net positive result, for something good to happen, there's lots of ways to do it. And we love doing that. We love solving problems for people. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. When the growth of Pensacola, where it's concerned, with the administration, what you have going on now and everything that's happening right here, communication creates, I think, when I say it every day, that's when you can sit down, if you can conversate with me, that's going to give us all power that we can put our lid out and we can open up and talk about anything. Partnership with the community. I'm not just talking with the black community, I'm talking about everything. With your administration that you plan to do, what's going to be different this time when you come back?
Yeah, well, first I'll go to your first word, communication. I think that's always, you've been in it a long time. I used to be in the print journalism world for a long time.
You know how it is.
Communication's an ongoing battle. We will never perfect it. I can guarantee you that. This administration or the next 100 administrations will never get it exactly right. But it's a battle that we take on every day. I mean, I'll give an example. We weren't doing a good enough job, even though we would send you a card in the mail and say that your garbage day changed because there was a holiday. We got Juneteenth coming up, for example, that changes your garbage day. We weren't doing a proactive enough job. So instead of just saying, well, we sent you a postcard, so how can we challenge ourselves to do better? So now we've got text alerts going out to every customer, and now it's a heads up, you better get that garbage out a day early. And so that's just one anecdote of, I think, the ongoing challenge. So I expect us always to be better next week, next month, next term. I expect us to always be better in how we communicate with the citizen, because half the battle is getting the work done. The other half of the battle, that big, not 90-10, 50-50. Half the battle is getting this grant money and all these amazing accomplishments we're so proud of. The other half is making sure that we're able to extract the maximum value for our citizens and say, hey, heads up, we got these jobs coming in. We've got Fricker Center done.
Exactly.
And so that I think we're going to continue to push ourselves to do a better job of making sure that everybody gets to understand all the great things that are available to them in the city, and make sure that we're listening and on the ground. Things have changed in 4 years. Affordability is our #1 issue in this country right now. Not that it's always that, but not at the same intensity. For example, 4 years ago, housing was a big thing. Now, still is, absolutely a big thing, but I think housing has been tripped up now by, I got to get food on the table and I got to get gas in my car. And so we should be nimble as an administration and pivot to that and say, okay, great. We've been focused a lot on housing right now. let's move, not stop,
That's
but
right.
let's move to these other things that are
Exactly.
more important because we're listening to our constituents.
I gotta say, reimagine Pensacola.
Yeah.
I mean, now that that's opened back up, because
Yeah, Palafox, yeah.
I mean, I'm on Palafox, right?
Uh-huh.
That is beautiful. I'm saying
Yeah.
it like a little kid. That's beautiful now.
Yeah. Well, it's great. It's going to get a big test this week with the 15 inches
know.
of rain coming in. But the stormwater, the ADA access, I've been seeing really my favorite emails I get about this since and saying, hey, it looks great, isn't the aesthetic stuff. To me, it's my grandma's in a wheelchair and she's never been able to get to enjoy this. Like when people stop me and say, great job, those are my favorite parts about it. Or the business owner saying, now I don't have to keep those sandbags that we've had for 25 years in the back in our closet in case it rains.
Because it rains, right.
Yeah, and so those were the real values that go back to our constituent to say, you can now, you have somebody in crutches in a wheelchair, you get to go now enjoy that with them, and you couldn't have done it ever before.
Right.
And so, so many amazing people went into making that possible, and remember, that's not just a street. That's economic development. That's people wanting to come in our community and spend money and create jobs.
Exactly.
Is when they see Palafox and say, well, I can move my business here. What does that mean?
That's right.
20 jobs for 30 jobs, 100 jobs for people in around our community. So really, Palafox is not one street. It's an economic driver for the entire region.
Oh, I love it.
And so we're very excited for it. I'm glad you enjoy
Economic.
it.
I love that. Okay. But I want when you talked about, and I'm going to be transparent.
Yes.
When it comes to this Friday, that's tomorrow, right? Juneteenth.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Juneteenth, I gotta be straight.
Yeah.
Has been targeted to say that that we should not. What are your feelings about that? How do you feel?
Well, one of the first things we did is when I got here is we made it's actually a holiday for all of our 900.
Yeah, I saw the emails already went out.
City all of our city employees. It wasn't necessarily that way before. Look, I go back to the same thing. I mean, this is unfortunately, whether you talk about Juneteenth, whether you talk about property tax and taking away the control of local governments to be able to provide you services and sending those somewhere else. There are a lot of, it goes back to that anger discussion. I feel like people are angry right now, and that now we're taking something like Juneteenth, we're taking something like Christmas, we're taking something like that and turning this into a political battle to pit ourselves against each other.
Right.
I think people should be able to celebrate what they feel like they should be able to celebrate, whether it's Christmas or it's Thanksgiving or it's Juneteenth or it's New Year's Eve. To me, I believe in people having the freedom to celebrate what's important to them.
Okay.
And so again, I just feel like we're in a little bit of an unfortunate time right now that it almost feels like it's becoming a hobby to say that I disagree with you, you are a bad person, I'm a bad person. I just wish just in general that some of those tactics would go away and we would try to figure out how to bring people together less than how to tear people apart.
I agree. When it comes to that separation, when you were talking about that, when I think about when you look at this is America's 250th year anniversary, and then now with the Juneteenth, when it comes down to that separation in people, and I notice you said this twice, people are angry. People are angry. Why are they angry? What are they angry about?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's that same concept that we just talked about, is that through national media, through social media, that's never been more free-flowing. Nothing, no facts being checked. No, I mean, again, that's so crazy to me and you.
Right.
If I wrote something in a newspaper 15 years ago, I'd lose my job if I had facts that were not correct.
Not correct, of course.
That isn't a standard anymore. You can get millions and millions of views on an article that is literally made up.
And the more views, I think the more it's not true.
and you know what? If I make up something in an article that really fires up a certain segment, a certain demographic, then what happens? I just get more views, which means those ad folks pay more money. And so I just think the model of us as a society and how we communicate is built in a distorted way. And it's not rewarded for bringing people together. It's not rewarded for facts. It's rewarded for gaslighting. It's rewarded for tearing people apart. So when I go back to that anger percentage, I mentioned to you 72% of this country is angry.
Right.
That's not just Democrats are angry at Donald Trump. That's not just Republicans are angry at whatever. It's not
As
that.
a
It's
Democrat.
it's everybody. That's 72. That is a bipartisan number. That is 72% of this entire country
Right.
is just upset and angry. And so that's what I point to is just the visceral, angry nature that is unfortunately starting to become the standard of how we communicate with our neighbors.
Ridiculous.
And I think the best we can do is to be a model of not doing that and saying, and let's find common ground. How
Right.
do we come together
Right.
to create a better Pensacola, a better state, a better country? And,
Right.
So it's tough. It's tough, and I just hope to see some light at the end of the tunnel where we can start coming back together as a society.
I want to touch that again because when you said that, it's not about the Republicans, it's not about the Democrats, it's not about you, that, other. I'm just throwing those little no words in there. When it comes to right here, and I got to be straight up because I know you are in that political arena, you are the mayor, and there are certain things that you deal with on a daily basis. And what maybe even now, what has been brought to the forefront is more so than I've seen in my life's entirety. I hear things now that my mother and father told me about. And I'm wondering now, when I'm talking about there are so many people or feel, I'm going to share something with you that happened to me. Then you can answer this question where I'm going. I run downtown and I walk down here every week, all the time. Been doing it for years. And one evening, we were walking, so the ladies, we always walk from downtown back around to the Fricker Center, all that. But there was a word that was yelled out to us on the street as we were walking. And I was shocked. But I say that to say, how are we going to deal with it now? And I know you know where I'm going. Like that name that was yelled out to us. And it was like a spear. Oh, it hit. How can we not allow things like that? No, you can't control everybody. You can't control anything. But racism right now is being pointed at in so many areas, D.C. And I feel it. And I am, and I'm going to say that from a black woman's point of view, like that day when that word was thrown at me, that name that was thrown at me right here in Pensacola. But now it's becoming so much easier. It's becoming more freely that it's done. I gotta go to break because she tell me, gotta go, break, gotta go. But we're gonna come back and talk about that because I want people in all communities not to feel that that's gonna be something that we lean toward.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
We're going to talk about that.
Let's do it.
Look, she's saying go to break. Okay, we're going to go to break and come back and talk with our mayor more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
For 75 years, we've been caring for families, creating jobs, and working to build a healthier community. This is your home, and ours too. We're honored to be the trusted partner in your care. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
I'm Kathy Holsworth, Artistic Director at Pensacola Little Theater. Join me on the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. for the Center Stage, where me and my artistic friends talk about all things on the stage and at the Clark Family Cultural Center. Join us, won't you?
Take a breath and step into something green. At Pensacola Seed and Garden, both of our locations are open 7 days a week, ready when you are. We don't just sell plants, we grow many of them right here with care you can see. And once you take one home, you'll find everything you need to help it thrive. Visiting from out of town? Discover unique exotic plants you can bring home, often for less than ordering online. Pensacola Seed and Garden. Grow something beautiful.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner. We're having a great conversation with our mayor and well, he's what we gonna call you? Okay, you're the mayor now, and you are the runner-up again for the mayor.
I guess I'm the incumbent. I'm the incumbent.
You're incumbent mayor. That's right. So okay, mayor. I'll just leave it like that. But back to let's go back because I want to talk about that because of the fact that and with you being our top of chain of command here, and it's so unbelievable, is like you said, with the people, everything that we see from the top up, the top down, but it trickles down to right here.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, we don't want the community to feel as if that we have to fall into that normality.
That's right.
With that kind of stuff, because it's not.
And that's the key word is unfortunately, and it goes back to so many things we talked about today already, is the normalization of how we treat one another. No matter your skin color, no matter your age, how we treat one another. And the example I use is if you've been a police officer and you've seen and you've had to deal with crime scenes and you've had to deal with seeing bodies and seeing injuries and things like that. Well, when you see the next one, it's normalized. You're used to it. Whereas us as citizens who haven't been police officers, we don't we would react very much differently. So what's unfortunate like that, and you better find me that person's tag number. I yelled at you, but
no, we were so shocked. We were like, "Did they say that?"
but you know, I think the only thing that, like you said, that's not something that's necessarily solvable quickly. I think the challenge for all of us as citizens of Pensacola is think about how you talk to your neighbor. Think about how you communicate on social media with your neighbor, and you'll never control some of the uncontrollables of that don't want to do it that way, and they want to tear down with hate. But that's when I think about that. When I think about an angry country, I think to myself, and I'll never be perfect. None of us will ever be perfect in that, and I will never have had to experience what you've had to experience. But I can tell you, it all starts with us, and I think the best thing that we can do, certainly best thing I can do, is do the best job that I can to not fall into the trap of the normalization of how we're supposed to be talking to each other about racism, about anti-Semitism, about when we're seeing it in religions, we're seeing it, and this would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. That the way that people talk to each other and how we talk about other religions, other races. And so, you know, this is a 50-50 city here in Pensacola. This is half Democrat, half Republican.
Hello.
We have a prominent black community, 20-ish, 25%. I mean, there is still diversity in this community, which means there's lots of opinions, there's lots of religions, and I just hope as a community that we can be better than that, that we can be better than what the normalization is right now.
When you say lots of religions, don't hold this to me. When I first moved to Florida, I said, oh my God, I've never seen so many churches.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
that's hard to keep track. There is a lot of them.
I said, I never in my life have seen so many churches in one small town.
That's right.
Because it was not a huge place, but there's a church on every corner.
That's right.
And a car lot.
Man, you got it down pat.
Listen to this. Education. What's your plans to increase? Like, I got to go there again. I hate to bring these negative things up, but even with the fact that the books that's being taken out, the things that we can't even teach about the history, and we are history, and with the local level of that, how do you approach that?
Yeah, that again, those are school district things that certainly the city doesn't get to weigh into. Where we've really focused all of our bandwidth and attention in the education of not saying that's not our job, but stepping up is. We're going to be really focused, and already have been, on childcare. And the reason we're focused on childcare is, one, we know that before you turn, and if you've had Quint Studer on the show, you know this too. That 85% of the brain's developed by age 3, 95 by age 5. And if we want our kids ready for kindergarten, ready for high school, and to have quality careers. I don't call them jobs. These are careers. That's what we really, when we talk at the human level, no one wants, you don't get excited about a job. You get excited about a career, meaning this is where you want to go. So we want our kids and grandkids to have careers here. And unfortunately, what we've been seeing in the state of Florida in childcare is how many people are now sitting on the sidelines that can fill important positions all over the state, but they have to stay home because childcare, either they can't find it, or it's so expensive, or they can't find a quality childcare. So the city's stepping up in education by saying, hey, we've got facilities. We'll move a quality childcare facility into a building we own, or on a piece of property that we have. They can build it there. Doesn't cost them anything, so they can save that money and make it more affordable for people. So the first one, we're ribbon cutting July 20th at Alice S. Williams Library, right across the street from Fricker Center.
Right.
Community Action and Doug, their team is going to step up, and that's only for kids birth to 2, which are the hardest ones to find childcare for because it's so expensive.
Exactly.
And so that's our first model of that, and we're going to continue to build that around the city to say, that we're not going to say we're not child care professionals. That's not our job.
Right.
Let's put child care professionals in the right positions to be successful, and let our quality, educated citizens that need to put food on the table, let them go work when we can get a quality child care for their kids.
Right. When you win.
I like to win. Yeah.
I look at, as you say,
Yeah.
I mean, when this election, well, we're so close.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's only a month or so away.
Yeah.
A little over a month. But what do you plan to add on to what you're doing to even better what you've already done?
You know, honestly, the voice in my head most times as mayor is I'm so honored to have been part of, I would think, a 3-year window that we've been more productive. $200 million in grant money, community centers going up, Baptist Hospital going down in a record speed in terms of taking an abandoned hospital and getting that done. The airport expansion happening. I mean, we can go on and on, Palafox Street. So we've been as productive as we possibly could be these first 3 years of standing up these projects. So it's not so much that we want to add more projects. I think we've got to set our workforce, we've got to set our children up for success. I think that is really the phase 2. Is we've got a lot of great things. We've got Hollis T. Williams going to go under construction, the whole stormwater park there. So I always use kind of the bowling analogy. We set the pins up at a record fashion.
Right.
We're just going to knock these things down, going these next 4 years. And so we're not looking for these other major projects. We're just looking about how to execute on those projects. And so when I think of, we bring a 2,000 job employer in, like Birdon, that's half the battle. We want to make sure our kids and grandkids are getting those jobs. So I'm doing a summit of people all over the country that are going to come in and meet with these employers and say, how do we make sure that we got enough kids at Pensacola State, enough kids at UWF, enough kids in the state of Florida that can come fill these jobs? Because what's the use of bragging about bringing 2,000 jobs if we can't get our kids to take them? So those are, it's a little more nuanced than it was. Starting out, you're like, hey, let's get all this stuff done.
Exactly.
Now we've got to really refine these things
Right.
and make sure that we set up the city for success.
When it comes to how has the city partnered with the community organizations to give them more support on some things?
Yeah, well, first of all, that's always an open door. And we, I mean, gosh, we could go through dozens and dozens things big and small. I think of the pallet shelters that we put in with the homeless at REAP. That's 17 facilities now. There were someone was sleeping without a roof over their head that they now are. And so that's one example. We're working with Offensive on the same project in terms of getting those pallet shelters put in place to get more unhoused people housed. So we work with programs like that, nonprofits, big and small, all of the time. And that I always feel like the success and failure of a city is not going to be solely reliant on the government. The government cannot solve homelessness. Can't. We need these nonprofits.
Right.
And so I have such gratitude for people that are willing to wake up every day and for a cause bigger than themselves.
Absolutely.
To go out and make something happen. I grew up in a household like that. My mom started the first women's program at the Waterfront Mission. She was a social worker my entire life. I was born in the old Baptist Hospital, and actually we rode out Hurricane Aaron in 1995 on the social work floor, the 4th floor of Baptist Hospital. So I've been around and got to watch firsthand from someone I respect the most what service above self is like.
I understand.
So I have such gratitude in my heart for these nonprofits, and I try to be as grateful as possible. So there's lots of opportunity, and it's the same thing. Anybody who feels like, hey, can the city help us play a role in that? You just email me, dcreeves@citypensacola.com, and we'll try to make something happen.
We've touched a lot of different areas, but now that I just want this from you from the inside. I just want to, just from DC from the inside. What does United Pensacola look like to you?
Yeah, that's listen. That's a good capstone to everything that we've talked about today. I think a united Pensacola is number one from a government level, making sure that we lead for everybody, and we feel very, very confident in not listening to misleading rhetoric, but when you look at the facts, that we have invested in every corner of this city, that we've created job opportunity in every corner of this city, and we'll continue to pursue what I said on November 22nd, 2022, when I was sworn in. As I said, this isn't a city for some of us, and it's not a city for most of us. It's going to be a city for all of us.
Oh, come on!
And we feel like that should be our track record. This new anger, this new resentment amongst each other, poses an even greater challenge to your question about how we become a united Pensacola. What I can tell you is I can't do that alone.
Right.
Our city council can't do that alone. You can't do that alone. I think it's going to take some real intentionality to bring us together in this day and age. And so I think maybe the best way for us to start at the government level, to start with United Pensacola, is to attack affordability.
Absolutely.
Because somehow it's a little easier to be a little friendlier to your neighbor when you know you've got food on the table, when you know you can keep your lights on.
Took the words out my lips.
Yeah, and so because we all know we project on to each other.
Exactly.
If I'm having a bad day, I'm going to let you feel a little bit of my bad day. If I'm
know?
having a bad experience. So I think if you say, what are you going to do? What is the government going to do? I think we continue to attack affordability. And I think let's just, as a society, try to get intentional about finding our common ground and not falling into the trap of this national anger that we're hearing all over the country.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great conversation. We got to go take our last break. We're going to come back and wrap it up right here with our mayor on Sunshine's Corner.
Hey folks, Winston Lindsay here with Living Southern Homes in Brewton, Alabama. We just want to remind you our new show will be coming on at 5:30 on Mondays on Blab TV and also Thursday at noon. Don't miss these opportunities. We will see you then.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority's state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quint Studer, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner. I tell you, today we've had a great conversation. I can't believe that the hours that we were just talking about that, Mayor, how, whew, when you're talking, it goes by so fast, you know what I mean? But I gotta say that I appreciate the fact that you put this on the calendar, and I wanna, let me do this. I'm going to open the door that he can have a seat here all the time. That he can come in and talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Any big issues happening?
Yes.
I mean, and so I appreciate you. I mean, you've been doing it a long time. Providing platforms for nonprofits, for cities, for us to get the word out. So this is. I'm very thankful that you've allowed us to share some of the good things happening in the city of Pensacola, and I appreciate the invite.
Well, you know what I tell you like this: with conversation, that's where we create change.
That's right.
I mean, when that purpose meet power, then we can all do it. I believe in invite you to the table and let us all talk about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And so that we will have to go by what you see on social media. I mean, I don't go to I call it the Google doctor or the Google information.
I need to steal that. Don't go to the city Google doctor. Just come get it straight. Come watch the video. Yeah,
and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you've opened up. You say, look, anybody can reach out to me.
Yeah.
Here's my email.
Yeah.
If you want to call the city. And you're
Right.
you may take you all weekend long. Your daughter gonna say, look, Daddy, let's do something.
I know, yeah. We can't hang out here on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
And listen, hey, politics is a family sacrifice. I'm so grateful to my family because, whether it's reading comments online or phone calls or, I signed up for it. But,
Exactly.
they kind of signed up for it, not all the way.
They said, Daddy.
Yeah, that's right.
But, I have to give you your props. Even when the construction was going on downtown. Every other weekend, I see you downtown doing a live feed to keep the community up. Now, I said, oh, check that out. Okay, that's good stuff. But I commend you on that because it takes that step. But with us doing what we're doing and with you in this race again, the incumbent, all that we've talked about today, and I want you to just, in this last minute or so, I want you to open up and talk to the community just coming from you.
Yeah.
What you want to say to our viewers, our community.
Sure.
From DC.
Yeah, well, what I can tell you is the next 4 years isn't about DC, it's about us.
Right.
And I took this job in a city where I grew up. I've lived in 8 different neighborhoods in the city. I wasn't doing it because I didn't have a good job before.
Exactly.
Or I might have had a little more sanity before. There's a famous New York mayor that has the quote, if you agree with me 80% of the time, you should reelect me. If you agree with me 100% of the time, you should see a psychologist. But again, we're a 50-50 political city.
Right.
We're a diverse city.
Right.
I don't expect that every citizen will say that this should be our priority, or I agree with the mayor on everything. That should never be the expectation. But what you should expect, I believe, as a citizen of Pensacola, is you should expect somebody answering the bell every day, putting in as many hours as possible to make this a city for everybody. And I could absolutely show our resume to prove that we've done that. But the future of this city will not be about one mayor. It will not be about 7 city council members. It won't be about 18 city departments.
Right.
It's going to be about us. And I think we have the ability in these next 4 years, we've set these pins up. Our city is 67, about 2/3 of our city say we're going in the right direction. There's a lot of mayors that would love to have that number.
Exactly.
2007, it was 28%. So as a city, we all generally feel, that doesn't mean we agree with everything.
Of course not.
We just generally feel that we're going in the right direction. So I'm proud of that, but we're not going to rest on our laurels.
Exactly.
And so I think how we can lift up nonprofits, how we can use the office, the mayor's office, to bring people together and bring organizations together and say, we can't do it all. We might get our budget cut, we might do this or that.
Right.
That, I believe, is the challenge of the next 4 years. So I didn't take this job as an I job, it's a we job.
There you go.
And that's what we need to do for the next 4 years, because the challenges have never been as difficult as they are right now.
Most certainly.
So I look forward to working with 55,000 people to make this a great city. And I certainly would love to have the honor to get to do that again for another 4 years.
When you're leaving a legacy, what do you want for generations to come?
Yeah.
They're going to say, well, DC, what would that legacy be?
Well, first, a good dad.
Okay.
That would be my number one. And I get, since I've been in politics, I get asked that question. I've been asked, what do you want it to be? I never wake up, or I never take on a project or whatever. And it's kind of funny because sometimes that'll get thrown around as a criticism. This is a legacy project. I've never once in my mind thought, because in my mind, if a project was a legacy project, then that's it.
Okay.
We have to. I want the legacy to be, I left this city in a better place than I found it.
Got it.
I don't care about one project. I don't care if our name's on it. I don't care if you knew me before I was ever in this. I don't care about titles. I don't care about who talked to who, or did you talk to my
Right.
When you're a business guy, man, you just figure out how to get it done.
Absolutely.
No excuses, and so that's really the mentality we try to bring to City Hall. So I'm not worried about legacy. I don't look at it that way. The legacy is going to write itself anyway. All I can control is waking up every day, giving you everything I got, and making sure that we're mindful of making this a city for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, thank you so much for taking the time on this
of
rainy
course.
day.
No, of course.
Oh,
right.
I mean, it was like, you say that, when you have a bad day, when you start off, I got to put it off on somebody. My day started off not good on on the interstate. I mean, stop. No, I'm going to be late.
All right, well, yeah, I'm just worried about the stormwater
There you
tanks
go.
out there.
Oh.
Yeah. But we got a lot of new stormwater in, so we
go.
should be all right.
Exactly. But I want to thank you so very much for taking the time. And we've talked about a lot, and I just really appreciate your openness.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that with the transparency we've used today has shown our viewers even, look, you've got the opportunity yourself that if you want to reach out and talk to him, do so.
Yeah.
I'm one to do this. I don't go on what Tom, Dick, or Harry says. I want to find out for myself.
Yep. And I appreciate that opportunity to do it. That's what I mean. Is instead of letting things fester out there, or I wonder what he'd say or think about that, just ask. Yeah. Again, we're radio newspaper people.
Baby.
Yeah.
Come on now, we know what it is.
I love talking about it. People are like, you want to ask, and so I appreciate you asking those questions.
Yes.
It's things. Asking things that people might be thinking and don't feel comfortable asking.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
And I thank you. And I mean, and this is why I always tell you, ladies and gentlemen, right here, I strongly believe that this show was created to be that place where those difficult conversations, you can have them. I invite you to the table, and I'm going to allow you to speak your part. That's what it's all about. It's about community. And I say that because all of my radio years, but this, I can go another direction. I can only talk a minute. And then we have to stop, go to a song. A minute, you got to stop, Right. And if you go over a minute, you're going to get an email. But here's an opportunity that we can be transparent with our community and show our realness. And I thank you for doing that with us today.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And look,
anytime.
Good luck in the upcoming election.
All right, we're going to get after it.
All right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great day. And I want to say to you, please make sure that you you are heard, and that's by voting. Leaving you as I do every day, ladies and gentlemen, with a thought. I never ever want you to forget this. Always remember, if you keep God first in whatever you do, I'll guarantee you'll be a total success. So until the next time, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Go out, tell somebody that you love them and mean it. Keep shining while I'm gone. Let your light shine. Thank you so much, Mayor. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.